How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You're watching Everything Weapons. Houthi blockade on Saudi Red Sea oil transits threatens to widen the war in Iran and strangle energy supply even more. So if the Houthis start attacking ships near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, it could peel off U.S. resources from the Iran operation and exacerbate oil shortages. This is from the war zone, so all credit to them, as renewed hostilities between Iran and the U.S. and its allies enter a 10th day. The Houthi rebels of Yemen say they are imposing an embargo on Saudi oil shipments passing through the BAM Strait. BAM for short, B-A-M. It's Bab el-Mandeb. The move threatens to add further pressure on oil exports from the Middle East, already drastically affected by the Iranian closure of the Strait of Hormuz and the resumption of the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports. Saudi Arabia has diverted millions of barrels of oil per day through pipelines to its Yanbu port on the Red Sea in an effort to minimize the energy shortages due to the hostilities in the Persian Gulf. This also raises the specter of the U.S. having to get involved, as it did during the previous Houthi campaigns against shipping that ended last September, but which could pull resources away from Iranian-focused operations. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump renewed threats against Iran over the recent deaths of U.S. troops, while reports have emerged that he is considering widening the conflict and even debating a full-on ground invasion in Iran, right? However, the massive expenditure of air defense munitions that has already taken place is a major consideration. In addition, there are growing concerns about the extent of the damage to U.S. bases in the region and the uptick in casualties as Iran continues to bomb all the Gulf nations, right? So on Monday, Kuwait said it came under Iranian fire again, and hours earlier, Bahrain said it too had come under a new wave of Iranian attacks. The extent of the damage in either Kuwait or Bahrain is unclear at the moment. Those recent attacks came after U.S. CENTCOM on Sunday night said it wrapped up a 9th straight day of strikes on Iranian assets. So the Iranian-backed Houthis say they will no longer permit Saudi Arabian ships passage through the Red Sea into the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. And this is just getting worse and worse of a mess with each day, right? And it's been a headache of ceasefires, negotiations that just get stripped, and this war just has utterly no strategic benefit for the United States, and it's really sad. Houthi forces on Monday reportedly began issuing warnings on open maritime frequencies near Yemen that the BAM is closed to Saudi shipping. Its vessels are subject to attacks. So a Houthi shot down. If the Houthis shut down the BAM Strait, would choke off the flow of oil exports from Saudi Arabia, exacerbating the above-mentioned impingement on the flow of oil from the closed Strait of Hormuz. Having both straits closed at once is something a sum of all fears scenario for the global energy marketplace. We're going to see gas explode. We're going to see Americans not be able to afford gas, and not just Americans, right? So this is very serious here in terms of global energy. So beyond affecting the flow of oil, a Houthi blockade on the BAM threatens to open a new front in this conflict and a whole new theater, right? A new angle of the war. The Houthis carried out a campaign against shipping in November of 2023, if you remember. And the possibility exists that a new wave of Houthi attacks, especially if non-Saudi ships are targeted, could drag in U.S. forces already in heavy use in the Persian Gulf region, battling the Iranians. So this war is about to get a lot messier, and it's going to be really bad for the United States if there's a whole other blockade and another strait closed off by the Houthis. We're already getting bombed in the Gulf states. It's not good, guys. Not looking good. satellite imagery has emerged on social media showing the extent of the damage at the recent base that was hit by Iran. And yeah, it's just not good. So they say here, beyond damage, the number of troops killed and injured in Iranian attacks is rising. On Monday, the Pentagon identified 2 soldiers killed in action. Both soldiers worked for air defense units, so very sad. And it was Private Isabella Gonzalez, 19 years old, and Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan, 25 years old. CENTCOM also reported on Sunday that a U.S. service member in northern Iraq was killed in action July 18th during a controlled detonation of unexploded ordnance from a downed Iranian one-way attack drone. And unfortunately, I think it's not good, guys. We're going to see more Americans unfortunately die for Trump's war for Israel entirely, right? Still, despite the increasing violence, both the U.S. and Iran have suggested that further diplomacy to end the fighting is possible. But is it really, guys? I mean, we've had so many ceasefires not go down. Now, we have an update here from 4:50 p.m. on July 20th today. So CENTCOM announced the start of the 10th consecutive days of strikes on Iranian targets. So they say today at 4 p.m., U.S. forces began a new round of strikes against Iran at the commander-in-chief's direction, the command stated on X. The strikes are designed to further degrade Iranian military capabilities used to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. So thank you guys very much for watching. Type a comment down below of what you thought. And if you want to stay up to date with everything war and military related, consider subscribing. Takes a few seconds, why not? Ring the bell if you don't want to miss any videos we post in the future. Again, you've been watching Everything Weapons. Check out my older content as well on the channel. Lots of videos to binge watch. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. See you in the next one.